Alright, let me make sure everything's all good on my end. There it is. Alright, welcome everyone to the 8th race of the Cubecar Championship Series season. We are at our second road course race of the season here at Watkins Glen. And this should be a pretty fun and relatively shorter race compared to recent races, as this track is very unique because it's shaped like a gun, or it looks more like a cannon in my opinion from the map. But it's got 11 turns, so a lot of different corners and a lot of action here at this track. And it says there's a straightaway right here. Don't listen to them; they're a liar. There's a chicane right here that they go through before they go through this big long winding corner. But this is our track for today. On pole for today's race is the 01 of Curb. Looking forward to get a win here today after the heartbreak last race at Rockingham. So I'm very excited for this race here today. This will be the final race of the week before I actually am going to stream something. I'm actually going to stream Sonic Adventure 2 later this week. I'm going to be doing the randomizer again because I've had a little bit of a hunch to do that again, so expect that on Friday. So that one should be pretty fun. But I'm very excited to get the Sonic Adventure 2 randomizer run again. I'm going to be explaining more in detail about how that'll work once I get to that, but that'll be a fun stream for sure. We're about to go racing for 45 laps here at Watkins Glen. Should be around an hour. That's what I got in testing when I did this track, because I hadn't raced it with the AI in a while. So the green flag is out, and we are racing at Watkins Glen. And the hard braking into turn number 1 is going to make a lot of people make some interesting choices on the first corner. Tram. It's a very good run on the inside into turn 1. Then hard into turn number 2. Not as hard, though, as Tram gets out ahead. He won at Portland earlier this season, so he knows his way around the road courses. Side by side with Curb going into 3 out of the S's. Then on that long straight before the chicane, more hard braking here. This is a very dangerous spot to be racing side by side, as it's very easy to get turned around, especially if you're in an awkward position. That happened to me when I raced at this track online not too long ago. I actually crashed into the host, and he was not very happy with that, but I got away with that one without any incident or penalties or stuff like that. Then one more long section before our final 2 corners, 10 and 11. But Tram is going to get out ahead of our pole sitter Kirby for the lead. He started in 4th for today's race. Or actually, he started in 4th, so he's going to lead the first lap. Further back, though, a lot more 2-wide action. You've got Air Traffic Cone and Klonoa side by side to the corner. That 79 is really looking for a turnaround of the season, as the start has just been horrendous so far for that team. Then further back, you've got last week's winner, Daisy, battling with Igus. And then Gogomobile and Shadow side by side coming in out of the S's. Then Packmobile right behind, Cold Steel. Actually, when I did a test race earlier today to work on some track changes, Cold Steel actually won the test race, but he started on pole in that, so if he manages to make his way through the field, expect him to be a bit of a threat. But right now, he's stuck battling with Packmobile and Mr. Kill in front of him, so he's going to have a lot of traffic to deal with. But a lot of people already going single file so far, but Curb staying pretty close behind Tram in the 42. Getting that draft. It's very easy to get draft here at this track because of the long straightaways. Oh, the caution is out already. We've got one car around. It's Whimsicott and Road Toad into the wall. And Whimsicott's already on pit road. Caution is out already on lap 3. Road Toad, I believe, was also involved as well. Oh, and Raccoon! Engine failure for Raccoon, our points leader. Already an explosive start to this race. Oh, Lightning McQueen's on pit road as well. So is U-Haul, so it must have been a lot more than I expected involved in that wreck. But the 45 of Raccoon, our points leader, engine problems here at Watkins Glen. And we have already got... He must have actually been involved in the crash, because it did not show up on the alert bar. But let's see what happened. So let's fast forward. We'll rewind from the start of the 3rd lap, and we'll go back. Yeah, U-Haul must have got involved in something afterwards. So it was Road Toad and Whimsicott that got together into turn 11. Bam! Huge hit for that 89. And then McQueen and Dragonite got together. McQueen hard into the barriers. And that's when Raccoon hit U-Haul. And that's basically all what happened there. You don't usually have a wreck that fast early in this race. Raccoon's still smoking. He's going to make it to pit road, fortunately enough, but he is not going to make it to the end of this race. And already, U-Haul, McQueen, and Whimsicott out of this race. I believe that's the first DNF for Whimsicott this season, as they've already had a pretty successful season so far. But yeah, this race can either go really shit or really fast, because it's only either one or the other. But that's how this road course works, because this track has had some really nasty crashes in the past. 2009, 2012, actually no, 2011 had a nasty one. 2014 had a pretty bad one. I believe, 2014 was the last year we had a pretty bad wreck here. I believe 2007 as well. But this track has a bunch of really racy sections that just get really, tense, I should say. But it looks like they're probably already going to be coming onto pit road, because the tires wear down pretty quickly at a track like this. Yeah, McQueen went into the Cars 3 intro. And no, nobody's coming on pit road just yet. And the cautions here do take a little bit of time. Uh-oh, we got another alert. Oh, it's just Gun coming off a pit road. So some of our cars in the back of the field did pit. Goob pitted, so did Pawk, Gun, Road Toad pitted again. So all these guys back here, like Grim New Nation, Crushed Cube, and Hubris, did gain a few spots right there. But I actually believe these guys were ahead of the guys that just pitted, so I don't know what they were doing that back there. They must have gotten a little damage from that first crash. And I don't exactly remember if the pace car has the lights go off early at a track like this. If it doesn't, I may actually go side by side so I can go refill my water bottle real quick. I'll just have to wait and see what happens. I believe it's right here, or at some part of the track on the straightaway where the lights go out before they go back to green. Yep, right there. But now that we're under caution, I'll get to a little bit of the track's history. It's one of the oldest tracks in the schedule, actually a pretty historic track in terms of racing overall. Modern day, it hosts NASCAR, it hosts some GT racing. IMSA runs here, I believe, for their 12-hour stuff. They run a 12-hour race at the Glen, that's what it is. I believe the Mazda Miatas run here, but this track actually used to be a Formula 1 track, which is pretty interesting to know, but I don't think it is anymore with how the walls are designed and with Formula 1's new regulations that they're so posh about. But this track has a long storied history in racing overall, and I would like to see it come back to Formula 1 one day instead of their stupid new street courses, but hey, what can you do? But yeah, with all other road courses, you've got your regular old guardrails, a few safer barriers, and then some tires and sand traps, tire barriers, sand traps, all that kind of stuff all around the track. Nothing too special, really. There's some sand traps off of turn 10. And then into turn 11 is where Whimsicott met their fatal end into the barrier, as Raccoon gets his first DNF of the season in 39th after that collision with Lightning McQueen. So we're going to be going back to green here at lap number 5 once they cross the line. Tram, Curb, Meloetta, Heihachi, and Haruhi are going to lead them to green once again. Let's see how many of them go to the bottom lane into the entry in turn 1. Looks like Bowser's going to do it as Heihachi swings a little wide. And Bowser's the only one that's going to take advantage. Looks like Shadow, Cold Steel, and Pac-Mobile will as well. It's a very strong move to actually go down to the inside there on the restart. It's harder to do it when you're racing online because you do double file restarts online, so you're not in one single file line. You're all running together, but if you go to the inside, you'll have a great advantage there. But everyone coming through the chicane right here as Igus gets forced way wide by Daisy, gets in the dirt coming through the curbs, and gets out ahead of the 44. The Rockingham winner, and there's Shadow, who finished second last week. He's on the inside of the 44 now, looking to pass her for position here. The back of the pack, it's still pretty congested. Now Spark It Up in the 98, trying to make a move on Galaga, but Galaga's going to have the advantage going into 11. And that's the thing I like about road courses, that if you're side by side for a long period of time, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to pass. Because you got left-hand turns, you got right-hand turns, you got a lot of interesting things. Traffic cone's going to stick to right beside the AOA of Sisyphus here. He's going to dive down to the inside here to the S's. This cinematic shot that I used for the thumbnail. Pretty much everyone in the top 5 right now is just trying to find their draft. Bowser's already up to 4th from that, so yeah. Like I mentioned, getting that inside line is very, very beneficial because I believe he started 8th on that restart. And when Heihachi goes wide into that corner, he gets into the dirt a little bit. That's going to make him lose a little bit of momentum going into that corner. But Heihachi and Haruhi both just trying to find some time to get up to speed because there's so many straightaways on this track. It's very easy to gain up to someone if you have more momentum. Passing at road courses isn't usually that good, but we had a pretty solid race to the finish last season for the win when it was between Daisy and Squidward and I believe someone else. I don't remember who it was off the top of my head. I believe it was Squid Games. But 2 of those cubes are not in this season, so it's up to you to decide who's going to make it through. But so far this season, we've already had 7 different winners in all 7 races we've had so far. If Tram manages to win here today, he'd be our first repeat winner of the season, and he'd be sweeping the road courses so far. After this, I actually forget which road course we have next. I believe it's Road Atlanta. That one's going to be fun because I haven't run that track in probably a few years. So that's going to be a fun one to watch. And that one always had a bunch of wrecks, so. Ooh, Golgomobile gets forced out of line by Cold Steel. Here comes Pac-Mobile with a big run to the wide sweeping turn 9. Shadow making a move on Daisy here to the inside. Or actually to the right side. The left side, actually. And he's going to have a slight advantage out of turn 11. It's going to be a drag race to the line. I believe Shadow's going to have that position just barely ahead of Daisy. Half a cube length, I suppose. But Daisy's going to dive back down here. She's now got the advantage. They're still side by side going into the corner. And right here is the best spot in the track to pass on the left side or the right side lane. Because there is no inside or outside at this track. It is just the left or right, and you got to have a guy that lets you go through that. But Cold Steel also going to try and take advantage of that. He's going to have a run going into the S's, but is he going to let it stick? Yes. Shadow lost a lot of momentum there. Now Gogomobile's going to try and come back at him in that 13. Scroll back up to our leaders real quick. As the rest of them starting to break away a little bit, but everyone from Bowser on back is pretty tightly close together, which is good. That'll allow Heihachi and Haruhi and everyone back to pretty much draft off of each other like this is a super speedway, so they'll have a big conga line to the rest of the field. You can see they're all making little moves to try and disrupt the draft behind them. Back of the field, though, I think Goob might have some damage from that first crash as they are falling off a little bit. Same with the Road Toad. Looks like Hedgerton in the 06 trying to get past Among Us in the 51. Got to run into the S's. He's going to try and come out of there with that spot, but Among Us has a bit of an advantage. But these two have been battling a lot this season. They're pretty familiar with their game. And Hedgerton's going to get ahead. And Dragonite's still on pace. As he still will make contact with the 95 of McQueen, and he's on pace with Sheepmobile right now. He's running 26, which is still not admittedly that great for someone who was leading the points earlier this season, but doing pretty alright so far. Milwaukee running all by herself, just trying to hold on to third for now. Curb gained a little bit on Tram last lap, I believe. No, he lost 1/100th of a second. He was just barely slower than Tram there. Our fastest lap of the race so far is the 42 of Tram. So just like at Portland, it looks like he's going to be using his road course AI to his advantage. He is cooking right now. We got Heihachi still drafting behind Bowser. And then you've got Sisyphus trying to draft off of Air Traffic Code. Now Daisy's trying to make a move on Spark It Up in the 98, but regrets that decision. You got Hubris back there peeking her nose out to the outside. Oh, forces Sheepmobile into the wall. For a split second, you saw the sparks come off of that guardrail. And that 30 is not going to be happy with that, as Hubris pretty much punted that 30 out of the way. That could have been way worse if it was going into the chicane. Sheepmobile not happy with that one, though. You can see Sad Knuckles taking a look to the inside of the 51 of Among Us. Not getting much headway out of that, but we almost had another wreck right there. As now Spark It Up trying to get past Daisy. They're side by side across the start-finish line. 98's going to have a bit of an advantage here as he dives down. He's also looking for a good finish after getting cucked out of a good one at Rockingham after what happened on pit road. Dives to the inside. He's going to get it. And he's going to get ahead. Daisy loses a little bit of momentum, and now Cold Steel and Shadow are within reach as well. Igus now making a move on Galaga in the 16, but I don't think she's going to have enough momentum. Gonna dive to the inside, but no. Galaga's gonna slam the door on her. Leave her in the dust. Gentle Cat and Klonoa getting some draft off of each other. These two have had pretty miserable seasons so far, so a good finish here. Actually, they're both in the top 10 right now, so both of them really need a good finish here today. I expect pit stops to be around lap 20. That's usually when it is during the normal race. So it should be around the same here. A lot of guys just being as careful as possible going into turn 1. Shadow took a little bit of a look there, but he's got Pac-Mobile right behind him who went wide in the corner. Gets on the curb. Got Cold Steel back there battling with the One Piece in the 93. And Cold Steel's going to take that spot away from the 93. Or not Cold Steel, Crush Cube, my bad. Anyone getting some action going into the S's? No, but Igus is still right on the back bumper of Galaga. Spark It Up has been dealing with Daisy quite a bit. This pack of 4 is definitely one to watch for later in this race. But yeah, this race shouldn't be too terribly long compared to the other ones. Comparing Rockingham was about an hour 40. This probably would be around an hour because the test race I ran also had an early caution, and that one was about an hour in length. So the laps go by pretty fast here when you blink and you miss them, really. Unlike Martinsville, where you really blink and you miss them, if you'll basically get lost in the flow here, racing at a track like this. That's why I like driving it. It's fun. But now Pac-Mobile getting in this little conga line right here, led by Daisy in the 44. She's falling back to 13th. That's not going to stop her from trying to get a decent position. Daisy's now second in points after her win at Rockingham, the highest she's ever been in points, period. And if she continues up with this good momentum she's had recently, she could be a contender for the championship. As Pac-Mobile making a move on Shadow here. Dives into the S on his Outside, and he's going to get that spot as Shadow gets forced out of line. He's going to have to regroup, and here comes Gogomobile in the 13 looking to make a move. Ooh, I guess also trying to make a move on Galaga, who I believe went wide going into turn 10. Ooh, she's got a little bit of a run, but she flubs up the corner. And yeah, Raccoon and Heihachi definitely both have been around the 55 a lot this season. And technically, he has a teammate. I mean, counting the number fonts and which teams the numbers are actually related to, Haruhi technically has a teammate in the 56 of Suncube, but like not really. But now Daisy's actually got a little bit of headway ahead of Spark It Up. I believe he had a bad corner. And she's all by herself now. I guess making yet another move on Galaga in the 16. Let's see if she can stick it this time. That late braking into the S's. Can she get it? Oh, still side by side. Galaga keeps the advantage there. Ooh, Meloetta has caught up to her leads, and Curb has taken the lead away from Tram. And here comes Meloetta in the 7. Tram definitely not up to the pace he had earlier in this race when he was leading, and now Curb is out front here at Watkins Glen. Now Tram and Meloetta side by side going into 11. Meloetta got a great corner exit there. I believe she's going to have the point when they get to the line. Dead even. At least on the mini scoreboard, they were dead even. At least you can't really see it because of the ticker, but they were both 0.62 seconds. So, and now Tram falls back to third as Curb is now your new leader for the first time today. Heihachi trying to take a peek at Bowser there, but it's not really a good corner to do it. He's looking for a little bit of a challenge, trying to get past that 85, who's been strong in the test race, and he's currently strong right now. Yeah, Tram's definitely got issues with the grip right now. He just went wide into the S's, so he's looking for some grip right now. Haruhi's trying to run the outside line and try and get past Heihachi. Don't know if that's really going to work out for her. She lost a little bit of momentum there, but that could... Some of the other AI might try and copy that move. Not saying they would do that because they don't have machine learning capabilities, but this is a game from 2003. Of course they don't have machine learning capabilities. But Sisyphus right now trying to get past air traffic cone. Klonoa as well, waiting in the wings for something to happen back there. Gentle Cat now all by himself. Galaga now ahead of both Igus and Daisy, who has caught up to both the 19 and the 16. And having a mechanical failure at this track especially is really painful, especially if we have one early in like turns 1 or 2. Because if you don't stop, you're going to have to make it all the way to the end of the track. All the way around to get to pit road. So Tosto and Gogomobile side by side. Going into the first straightaway. And Gogomobile's going to clear him. But, a little bit of a funny thing that happened at this track recently when I ran it. So this is the same model of the track I ran when I ran it online. And we had an incident where there's a guy that was posing as another driver, and he actively went out and intentionally wrecked another driver that was racing, sent him over the wall, flipping into the trees, and out of the race. I have a screenshot of it somewhere, but I don't think I can put it on screen without crashing the game. I don't want to do that, so... But it was a very interesting scenario of a very wild race overall. Yeah, this pack right here is starting to get all close to each other. It's now Haruhi and Air Traffic Cone have closed the gap on Heihachi. Trying to get that draft, trying to find the best time to try and pass him, but still a bit of a car length away from that 34. Curb still sticking out ahead of Tram, but we're closing up on our first round of pit stops relatively soon. Daisy now looking to the... Oh, but she's going to get blocked by Igus. Either she got blocked or she got door slammed by the 19. But the 19 wanted none of that, and that kind of ruined Daisy's groove. She got a great entry into turn 8. And out of turn 9. So she's gonna stay right behind that 19 and draft behind her for a little bit. Looks like Cold Steel and Shadow still going at it. Not too much action at the back of the pack though. They're all really spread out. But Dragonite making a move on Omori Jr. And looks like Omori Jr. is gonna have the advantage here. But are they gonna be side by side? Yep. Door to door on the front straightaway. And Dragonite's going to have this point and get ahead of Omori Jr. It looks like Grimir Nation and Gun were battling back there. Hawk all by himself, so is Roto, so is Goob. So those three definitely have some aerodynamic damage for sure. And everyone's playing it safe now because they know that pit stops are coming up relatively soon, so... And pit stops here are especially interesting because if you have an issue under green, like having a tire go down, and you come to pit road, you're not really likely to lose a lap because of how big the track is, and if a caution comes out, you'll be saved by that because you'll still be on the lead lap. Heihachi trying to make a move on Bowser, not going to work out though. Well, he is right behind that 85, looking for position. He swings it wide, but he's not going to get to the point. Drafting right behind Bowser right now. This group is still pretty tight-knit together. Ooh, wow. Big group right here between Hedgerton and Mr. Kill. They're going at it right now with Sad Knuckles looking to try and capitalize on that. Yo 6 and the 21 still side by side as Mr. Kill. It's a pretty up and down season so far. Although we were only 8 races in, we were about to get to that halfway point, and I believe that will be at Martinsville? Yes, that'll be at Martinsville. Because after this is, I believe it's Pensacola that's next. No, yeah, it is Pensacola. Because that's our next super speedway. And I have never raced that track with the AI before, but I have seen it raced by someone else. A friend of mine who also runs leagues like this ran Pensacola as their track. And let's just say it was very interesting, to say the least. It was a very interesting track. It was very racy. It was either that track or Armory Digital, which is another super speedway that looks very cool. Galaga now has gotten passed by Igus from the outside lane, and now he tucks in behind the 19. Now Daisy's looking to try and make a move. But now they're all trying to stretch out as much of their tires and fuel as they can. I'd say tires is probably the thing you would want to worry about the most at this track. Oh, Gogomobile goes wide trying to get past Shadow. He's going to lose a little bit of his speed. Fall back a little bit. But he's going to stay in the draft. As now Hedgerton has gotten past both Sad Knuckles and Mr. Kill. Is now catching up to the 70-sider who blew an engine last week at Rockingham. So he's looking for a good finish, even though he is a field filler and he is not eligible for the championship. Ooh, looks like the One Piece got into the dirt a little bit there, coming across the hurdle dirtle. But you'll definitely tell you'll be able to tell when people start coming down pit road because they'll take a hard braking lane coming out of turn 11 and they'll just dive down into pit road. Ooh, Haruhi goes a little bit wide going into turn 1. But she's going to stay behind the 34 of Heihachi. Meanwhile, this group's still bunched together. As well as these guys still maintaining a pretty good conga line. Space Cube and Baguette Cube running together. Looks like Space Cube is going to get ahead, but Baguette almost gets to the side of the 31 as they're side by side in the S's. And the One Piece in an 83 trying to make some headway here. And Baguette makes a bold move through the dirt to try and get past Space Cube, and he does make it through. But Curb's still on the point. Tram is back to second, but he's trying to get back in front of Kerr, but not really doing too much. Oh, but he gets a little bit of momentum there. Gets some late braking, but not too much. A lot of these contenders are fighting a tight condition right now. They're having trouble finding grip. So if you see them go out of line a little bit, that means they're having trouble with grip. Yeah, Haruhi there. Saw air traffic coming behind her take a perfect line. Haruhi's struggling with grip a little bit. So on the next round of pit stops, we should start to see people have either better grip or worse grip depending on which setups they take. And usually it ends up being worse grip because they're still trying to figure out their setups. Ooh, Cold Steel went very wide there into the S's. Grip is very important on a track like this because you need to go through these tight corners as fast as you can. Herb maintaining his speed as we close in. Actually, I believe we'll make it to the end after one pit stop, so it's looking to be a one-stop... Oh, almost ripped my headphones cord out. Looking to be a one-stop race in this ordeal. As the three leaders have gotten out, Bowser's actually starting to put a little bit of headway ahead of Heihachi, and he's starting to do the same to Haruhi. So they're all trying and distance themselves to the end of this green flag pit stop cycle. Oh, Heihachi's trying to make a move, though. He's got to look into the S's. He's going to be side by side with Bowser. And he looks like he's going to have the advantage. Goes through the dirt. And he passes Bowser for 4th place. And that's going to allow Haruhi to get a little bit of an advantage, too, as Bowser got out of line. And she had a perfect corner there, so she's going to have to try and draft behind the 85. Daisy's looking poised to make a move on Galaga right now in that 16. Spark It Up, taking it. Oh, but Daisy went wide. Spark It Up had a really good corner, and now he's down at the bottom, but now not too much of a move. No one's come to pit road just yet, so we'll just have to wait and see when people start to do that. This curb is extending his lead by almost a second now. Not as much as Tram was leading at Portland, though. That was quite a bit of trolling. Ooh, Among Us making a move on Mr. Kill, but he's too far back. He will not get that spot. Gunn also trying to make a move on Space Cube. Almost makes contact with that 31. Almost turned him around in that corner. Let's see if he can get it again. Maybe not. Gogomobile and Tosto going at it in the S's, and Tosto's going to lose. Does he lose a spot? No, he doesn't, but he's going to try it again. Gets a great run in turn 9. And the Talladega winner is going to have a push from 70-sider. A little bit of an aerodynamic push. It's a good run to turn 10. He's going to seal the deal going into 11. But Gogomobile has not been cleared, and now 70-sider is going to try and pass him. In turn 1, that hard braking, most amount of braking you got to do for one corner. These two are probably going to be going at it for a little bit here. And no, actually 70-sider is going to clear him into turn 2. Good move there from that field filler. Curb still all to himself. No real mechanical failures aside what happened to Raccoon, but then again, he did get involved in that crash and blow up after that, so that's pretty much what happened to him. Crust Cube trying to get past Omori Jr. once again. Melawetta getting a little bit of time on Tram in the 42. Trying to find the perfect time to pass him. Heihachi's still actually making a bit of headway ahead of Bowser now that he's ahead of the 85. And right now our fastest lap is still Tram. Curb is second fastest. Patmobile's third fastest. Fourth is Melawetta. Fifth fastest is Shadow. And 6th fastest is Haruhi, or fastest lap, not overall, but 7th fastest is Mr. Kill, then Air Traffic Cone, then Daisy, then Galaga. Pretty standard for our road course experts. Yeah, I think they're all getting close to their, yeah, they're about 1 to 2 seconds off their fastest lap, so they're getting real close to wanting to pit pretty soon. Curb, though, is still running pretty good laps. Meloetta actually ran a faster lap than all 3 of these guys here, so. Let's see, let's check on our leaders, see if any of them are going to come down just yet. No. Looks like they still got some time to go until they have to pit. Ooh, Shadow got a little bit out of line coming out of the corner. Hedgerton, oh, he got a little contact with Sad Knuckles, forces him into the grass. That's one way to get it out of the way, did the bump and run, but Hedgerton, oh, he's going to get cleared by the 82, though. No, not yet. He's still going to try and make a run for the pass. Side by side into the S's. And now Mr. Kill looking to make a run on that 82 as well. Because we're officially almost halfway through this race. Actually, we are at halfway now. Or a little past it. And both Mr. Kill and Hedgerton will make the pass on that 82. And will force him back to 23rd, I believe. Ooh, Haruhi right behind the 85 of Bowser. This is a battle waiting to happen right here. She's diving down the inside, trying to make a move on that 85 of Bowser. If this is for the 4th place spot. Actually, for the 5th place spot. They're going to be side by side in a turn 2. And Haruhi's going to clear him here. Into 2 and into 3. And she's going to get ahead of that 85 as we've got an alert. It is the 22 of Traffic Cone with a tire down. Ooh, that's not good. As he is slow on the track right now, that could cause some issues for people going into the chicane. Hopefully he doesn't bowl over, spark it up. Oh, this is going to be bad. Oh, wow. And everyone gets around him just fine. But he knows he has to take the corner wide. We'll watch and see what happens with him. Now he goes all the way up to the top. Now has to go to the bottom to let Hedgerton and everyone else get around. So very good work by Traffic Cone to get out of the way of the pack. Well, except for Suncube. Oh, he made a little contact with Suncube there. Oh, around he goes! And Suncube goes around trying to get past Traffic Cone, and Dragonite's going to get slowed down by that as well. And does the caution come out from that? Yes, it does. And now we run to the second yellow of the day because of contact between the 22 and the 56. And now Curb's lead of about 1.5 seconds is going to be erased, as they're all practically going to come down pit road now for their first stops of the day. So they all got to come around one more time before they can line up behind the pace car. As the caution came out after the leaders had taken the lap. And looks like Traffic Cone's already on pit road. So they're all still racing back to the line, I believe. Yeah, they are. That wreck wasn't as bad as the first one, though. I think both of those cars will be okay. Although Air Traffic Cone's probably going to be on pit road for a while. Ooh, Tram had to dart around to try and get past Meloetta. And looks like Curb will take the yellow flag and will put Air Traffic Cone one lap down, I believe. Actually, no, I think Traffic Cone's going to be ahead of him because I believe he crossed the finish line before Curb did. Maybe not. But the pace car is now into turn 8 and 9. So Goob is going to get there first, actually, even though he's in 38th. But now, once they all line up, actually, they might not even all line up before they get to the pace car, as it's now going into turn 10. Oh, Goob's gonna get the wave around here, so he's gonna stay on the lead lap. You don't usually see that happen with the AI. But now Curb catching up to the pace car. Everyone else behind him starting to catch up, but I don't think they're going to be all bunched up together before they get to pit road, so they might be a bit of a deficit in terms of, well, maybe not. Heihachi still has to catch up to them, but it'll be pretty close from then on. Yeah, they're all coming to pit road now. There's the entry line. So the biggest battle is between these three, so let's watch and see who gets off of pit road first in this first cycle of yellow flag pit stops, and probably the only one for the day. There's a good camera point angle right there. See everyone diving onto their respective pit stalls. And the pit road goes quiet as you can't really hear them changing tires, except if you're playing in single player, because no, there will not be a second pit cycle. But Curb is going to get out first. Top three is going to basically remain the same. Heihachi, Haruhi, then Bowser and Klonoa, then Daisy and Igus. 3 wide between Galaga, Pac-Mobile, and Sisyphus. And then looks like Spark It Up lost some spots, so did Shadow. And there's the rest of your field going by after this cycle of yellow flag pit stops. Here at Watkins Glen, definitely more cautions than we had last season, that's for sure. We only had 1 last time, I believe. And Space Cube, actually no, Road Toad's gonna get out last. So Heihachi's going to line up 4th. Air Traffic Cone still has yet to pit. I believe he's on a different cycle, but he's still about to go a lap down. So either he pits coming up here, or he doesn't, which might be the case. But they will be going back to green this time by, so it looks like the 22 is not going to pit. But this restart is going to be really important if we go caution-free to the rest of this event. Because whoever gets out first and whoever gets away first is probably going to end up being the winner. But we've had some pretty good battles for position so far in this race. So Klonoa gained a few spots. Daisy gained some spots. So did Igus. Sisyphus is out of the top 10. So is Gentle Cat. Looks like Toasto gained a few. 70-siders are relatively the same. No real big losses. Just a few small changes. Although Road Toad lost a few spots. Probably because he was off cycle a little bit. And there's Goob in the 00, last one to pit. And Suncube, who was involved in that wreck, is going to line up 33rd on this restart. 1 Daytona and really hasn't done much since 56. But Air Traffic Cone is technically going to lead him to green, but he'll be a lap down, so... But he might actually be off pace, too, because of the damage, so that might hinder Curb's progression. Green flag. Haruhi already making moves to the inside. Past Heihachi, she's going to take a deep dive, and Melowetta's going to cut her off. But she's still going to be battling with Heihachi for 4th. Looks like Galaga also doing the same, with Spark It Up behind him. But Haruhi already picking off a spot ahead of Heihachi in the 34. What a move by that 55. And she's going to try it again with Melowetta, probably. While their tires are still relatively cold, grip isn't going to be all that crazy for a little bit. So they're going to have a little bit of trouble trying to make some passes. Gonna get some wide angle shots of the field here. Nice camera. Ooh, Melowetta trying to make a move on Tram. She's got a little bit of a move. Oh, but she's not going to get it. Daisy and Galaga, though, battling back there. Sliding around. She's trying to get past that 16. Looks like Igus and Sisyphus back there going. Actually, no, it's Igus and Pac-Mobile. And looks like Pac-Mobile is going to battle with that 19. And that 08 as well get into the mix. Everyone's already starting to find their footing. Like I said, it's going to take a little bit of time for these guys to get their tires warmed up before they can start getting a grip, literally and metaphorically speaking, and making some passes. Right now, the lead pack is pretty tightly bunched up together. Everyone up to Heihachi can make some passes here for the lead, potentially. But we're going to need some hell of a runs. Air Traffic Cone still holding off our leader, trying to stay on the lead lap. If you remember from last season, we had one cube sweep every single road course race, and that was the 10 of Squidward. Oh, a Tram had a really bad entry in a turn 2. He lost a lot of momentum there, and now Meloetta is going to be in a good position here, but now Curb right behind Air Traffic Cone, trying to put him a lap down. Big braking. Oh, but the 22 is going to shut him off, as 22 is still on race pace. And Haruhi and Heihachi not too far behind either. Those two would really like to get a win here, but Curb and Tram have been so fast so far today, it's going to be really difficult to pass them if they even get up to that position. Looks like Bowser has already fallen off from this lead pack, but he's still doing pretty alright. Klonoa and Daisy, though, going at it. Galaga gets forced out of line. Actually, no, now Daisy gets forced out of line. And gets a little wide, but nothing too crazy. Pac-Mobile is going to get ahead of Spark It Up. And now, battle for the lead between Tram and Curb. He's going to dive it deep into turn 2. Makes a little contact with that 01. Almost turned him around. And that's going to cause him to lose all his momentum. And now Curb stays out front. And just so you know, we'll be 10 to go next time by. Like I said, this is going to be a short race. Ooh. Daisy and Klonoa also going at it again. Klonoa made a little contact with Galaga right there to the chicane. Well, this is obviously the best wreck Klonoa has had all season since Richmond. But at Richmond, he blew an engine, and he's not looking forward to having that happen again. Really, at road courses, the only thing he could probably blow is a transmission, but now Haruhi trying to battle Meloetta for third. She's got the advantage going into turn 11 with a little bit of help from Heihachi, although Heihachi doesn't really know what lane he wants to go to. Side by side out of turn number 11. And Haruhi barely has third. She's going to have to do some hard braking, though. Tram also looking for a spot for the lead, but Air Traffic Cone's going to block him off going into the corner. They're side by side for the lead and for third. Oh, and Haruhi has a little bit of an advantage back there. But both of these groups are still side by side with each other going into turn 5. And Haruhi's now in third. Tram back to the point in the 42. Fastest lap of the race is still that 42 of Tram. But that wild battle between two different groups is definitely... This Curb has fallen off quite a bit since he lost that lead position. He might actually fall victim to the 55 and the 7, potentially. Daisy's now caught up to Bowser. I believe she got past Galaga. Pac-Mobile taking a dive to the inside of Sisyphus in the 08. Can he get past him here? Almost went 3 wide with Klonoa if Klonoa fell back a little bit more, but now Sisyphus is going to try and make a move on Klonoa, and they're all going to stay single file for now. But Cold Steel back there trying to battle with 70-sider and Gogomobile at the same time. He's going to have the advantage on the inside line. Hubris is also up here as well. She didn't qualify all too well. Now she's getting some spots, and now she's in 22nd. Same with Crush Cube, also gaining some spots. Cold Steel is still battling with 70-siders. Now Pac-Mobile and Sisyphus trying to get past Klonoa in the chicane. Let's see how it'll work out for them. Ooh, Klonoa had a way better exit, but she's still not, he's still not clear. Still side by side coming out of 9 into turn 10. Long line of drafting cubes right behind them. Still a lot of positions to be shuffled around before the end of this race, as these two still going at it right here. And Sisyphus is going to just barely get ahead of the 79. Hey, Hachi and Meloetta trying to go at it now. Haruhi's trying to get past Curb. She's now caught up to that 01, but not too much. She still has a little bit of a ways to go until she can actually pass. But here's a big point right here. Tram trying to get past Air Traffic Cone, who, mind I tell you, is still on pace. And could be a big roadblock in case Kirby or Haruhi wants to get up front. Curb has to dive to the inside, though, to get past Air Traffic Cone. And that'll leave the 55 to try and deal with him now. But she dives down to the inside with a crossover move. And looks like they all might get past that 22 here in one lap. But that definitely spread out the lead a little bit more. And no, Air Traffic Cone is going to block off a 55 for now. That's now Gallagher and Igus right bumper to bumper right behind each other. A 19 is hunting down that 16 for a position. Tram got a little bit of a headway after Air Traffic Cone messed up the 2 leaders behind him. So he's going to be out front for the time being. Cold Steel trying to get past 70-sider. And Gogomobile also a lot too wide action in the back of the pack. Gogomobile with a huge run to turn 2. Almost gets into the 70. And he's going to still be side by side going into turn 5. Or actually, turn 6. Spark It Up and Gentle Cat going at it as well into the chicane. And into turn 8. Here comes Crush Cube in the 24 as well, trying to make some spots. The 70 falling even further back. He's definitely lost a bunch of his momentum in one corner, as he's lost 2 spots in that one corner to Mr. Kill and Crush Cube. And now Haruhi's gotten past Cone, but is still a decent drafting distance away from the 01 of Curb. So the leaders all pretty much spread out pretty fair distance ahead of each other. They really don't need a caution right now. That would be bad for Tram, but good for Curb and Haruhi, because they've both been fast on the restarts. Looks like Sad Knuckles back there battling with Hubris. And Sad Knuckles easily gets that position away from the 07. Hedgerton trying to get past Dragonite. Gonna get a little bit of a push from the 02 of Omori Jr. or Omori Sr. actually. Yeah, no, it is Omori Jr. My bad. Dragonite may have pushed Omori Jr. out of the way a little bit there. He gets in the grass to try and get to that corner. No hard feelings, especially since these things don't have splitters. Haruhi is actually making a little bit of headway on Curb. Her last lap was a 1:10.5. His was a 1:10.6. But Tram still ran a faster lap than both of these cubes did. But now that Haruhi's in the draft, she can start to run some faster laps. 1:10.9, 1:10.5, 1:10.2. Very good lap for Haruhi there. Was 7/10ths faster than what Tram did last lap, so Tram has fallen off a little bit. But he's only got 5 laps left to do it. Can the 2 of these cubes try and catch up to Tram to pass him for the lead? Will he lead it to the end of this race? Iga's trying to pass Galaga once again, and she does. Now Sisyphus is going to have to deal with that 16. And now Iga's up to 8th. Good run for that 19 once again. Has had a very up and down season. Spark it up. Now trying to pass Gentle Cat in the 71. Going into the chicane. Turns 6 and 7. And Gentle Cat is going to get ahead there. Klonoa's falling back all the way to 14th. Something definitely happened at 79 as he's fallen out of the top 10. Meloetta still battling with Heihachi, but... Oh, Haruhi just ran her fastest lap of the race last lap. Right on the back bumper of the 01 of Curb. Now making a try and make a dive on the inside. Huge braking corner. She gets a lot of momentum on the leader, and she's going to pass Curb for second, but Curb is not going to let that go away so easily. Actually, she clears him there. Even though Tram ran a faster lap, Curb ran a slower lap than she did. Now Haruhi's going for the lead here at Watkins Glen. This is exactly how that last year's race ended, with 3 cubes battling for the lead at the end. Except last year it was Squidward, Squid Games, and Daisy. And Daisy's looking to get another top 10 here at this track. Fastest lap of the race still is Tram, but right now Haruhi is driving a very good run right now in that 55. Had a pretty lousy corner right there in the turn 8, but she needs that draft in order to get up to that 42. As Tram has been falling off a little bit since this restart. Ooh, she's going to take a little bit of an aggressive line into the corner. Went into it a little early with the braking. Let's see what lap time she ran compared to Tram. 1:10.9. Wait, did Tram run the exact same lap that he did last lap? I think he did. That's wild. Ooh, a 1:10.6. So she is faster, and Curb is slower. You know, I've seen identical laps, and I've Mario Kart 64. I was doing time trials once, and I ran 2 laps that were identical to each other. You know how hard it is to do it in a game like that. In a game like this, it's easy if you're consistent. But in a game like Mario Kart 64, it is very difficult considering how that game controls. But now Curb getting a little bit more momentum on that 55. She's really struggling in the chicane and in turns 8 and 9. That seems to be where she's slowest. Tram, though, running a pretty good race right now. But at this point, he's got 2 more laps to get to the end. And if a caution comes out, either it will go to a green-white checkered, or it will go to ending under yellow, which would not be a very good scenario. Tram ran a pretty good lap there. Let's see what his time is compared to the 55. 1:10.7, 1:10.7, so they are about equal. 2 to go this time by from Watkins Glen. Let's see if that 55 can close the leader and pass him for the lead. It's going to be difficult considering Tram's about a little over half a second away, but it's possible. Meanwhile, Heihachi's got a pretty good distance ahead of Meloetta. Now Igus is catching up to Daisy for 6th. Bowser has passed Sisyphus. And Klonoa's gaining some more spots again. These guys have been mainly pretty chill. Actually, Pac is now back up the pace again with the rest of the guys in the back of the pack, but still not doing all too good. As Tram is getting even more momentum ahead of the 55. Actually, Curb ran a faster lap than both of these two did. But right now, coming to the white flag this time by, Tram with a pretty good advantage over the 55. Can he close up a win? They all ran 1:08, so they're all starting to fall off a little bit. Not as big of a lead as he had at Portland, but he's still pretty comfortably ahead of the 55 of Haruhi here. All he needs is one more clean lap to make it to the end. Dives into the chicane. Regained a little bit of momentum there, but I don't think she's going to have enough to get his draft and get past him in these last few corners. I believe it is all set in stone for this final lap. Gonna try a couple more corners, but I don't think she's gonna have enough time. Can she get in there in 11? No. Coming out of turn 11 for the final time, Tram is gonna win both of the road course races this season. He wins at Watkins Glen. Showing signs of what Squidward did last season, as that 10 swept all of the road course races last season. Let's see if Tram can do the same with all 5 are running this season. But Tram wins again. Haruhi gets second. Curb gets third. Heihachi fourth. Meloetta fifth. Daisy sixth. I gets seventh. Sissy fifth gets eighth. Bowser gets ninth. And Galaga gets 10th. Good run for a lot of cubes today that are doing well in points. And bad for Whimsicott and McQueen, who have been on hot streaks recently. So they're going to definitely suffer in points. Same with Raccoon, who is our points leader. So I believe our new points leader might actually be Daisy, because Daisy was second in points going into this race. Session's now complete, so I'm going to go ahead and export. But that is all for Watkins Glen today. I think I might stream the SA2 randomizer on Friday, so there'll be no more races for the rest of this week. But when we come back, we will be racing at a track I still have yet to download, and I still have to do some testing for, but we'll be racing at Pensacola for our next Super Speedway race. That one should be a lot of fun, but until then, I'll see you next week. Good night.